Hello, hello, welcome back, bienvenue. Let's talk Resident Evil.
Never gotten clearance to land that fast before. You must be special.
I'm a longtime fan. I've fallen in and out of this fandom so many times. I joined with Resi 4, and with this recent release of Village, well, Resident Evil has really taken over, and I love it because I'm getting so much more content. So it's no surprise that they dropped Infinite Darkness on us, but the reaction from the fandom has been a bit mixed. A lot of the fans are super underwhelmed or a little bit angry, so let's talk about it. Infinite Darkness is a very simple plot with political intrigue, zombies, and men in power abusing that power without a care for the common man. So pretty much it's Resident Evil in a nutshell. But more importantly, I finally got to see Leon S. Kennedy back on the screen. And we were also promised Claire Redfield, but their reunion is a bit bittersweet. A lot of people are harping on the plot, and it is overly simple for something that was touted as this series, but it's still fun. I think what it is more people are angry that we didn't get to see the Claire-Leon interactions that we really wanted to see. It's true that they are two people living very separate lives at this point, but let's be honest. Claire was completely underutilized and mismanaged. Capcom really seems to love shoving her into the background. She's not as sexy as some of the other female characters in the Resident Evil series, and she doesn't draw the male gaze as much. She's also not this big action hero that all the guys want to be. But Capcom always seems to disregard their female fan base. Hello, we're here. We would like to see a well-rounded female character. One that has an equal part to play. Why include her if you're going to completely disregard her? She's more or less a vessel for the backstory. She doesn't actually contribute anything to this story. In fact, you could actually completely remove her and nothing would change. It's completely shameful. Leon gets all the interesting story. And yet somehow Claire is still doing all of the heavy lifting for him to fill out all the backstory so he can just be the big action hero. You know, men can deal with trauma and emotions too. We can let them be human. We can let them grieve. We can let them hurt. We can let them be human. And for fuck's sakes, let Claire have a purpose. The extended Resi universe is really for those fans that just love the lore, that love the backstory, that want to see more of their favorite characters. I love how this universe has expanded to tell so many other stories. It just isn't this standalone horror game anymore. It's an entire universe that really has the potential to tell so many more stories. Here's the thing with Infinite Darkness. They really just tried to take a middle ground with the story. They didn't want to go too deep into plot, and they also didn't want to go too action heavy. Infinite Darkness should have been cut down to a film like the others. It really had way more ambition than they actually managed to pull off. So either it should have been a movie, or they should have actually extended it and made it a full-fledged series. So what we ended up with is this 4-part miniseries that doesn't even have a runtime of 2 hours. Each episode is less than half an hour. They tried to slow down. They tried to draw out the story. They didn't make it as fast-paced action with more plot-heavy scenes. But what we ended up with was way too much expositional dialogue. This could have been so much bigger. This could have expanded into such a huge story, and Claire could have actually had a part to play. I mean, the only other woman in this series gets her neck snapped. So basically it says, you've served your purpose. We don't need you anymore. This could have gone international. They could have pulled in the BSAA. They could have had characters from all over the series interacting all over the place. Instead, this storyline was just too simple for the format they tried to do. There are definitely things to love about this series, though. I love the fact that we go into this idea that the government, or somebody in the government for their own gain, has started implanting a virus into soldiers, and they're actually going to reanimate on death. I would love to go deeper into that. I would love to explore more of these men in power abusing it, and what it means for them to manipulate the people who work under them. And then we have placing Leon and the team in a sub underwater that forces them to fight without guns. I absolutely loved that, and the infected rats were so creepy and fucked up. It was, hands down, the best horror aspect of this series. We've already seen the consequences of the choices the characters make on the fandom at large. I mean, mostly Leon. But I wanted to see a more in-depth study of the characters. I wanted to actually see the characters change and to evolve, but we didn't actually see any character development in the entire series. Leon is a lapdog of the government at this point. He's helping them keep their secrets. He's complacent in their cover-up. He's making really questionable, if not absolutely stupid decisions, and a lot of people are angry about it, and I honestly can't blame them. But it also makes Leon all that much more human, because people don't always make the right decisions. It just makes him that much more of a deeper and complex character. But I want to see the next stage. I want to see what happens to turn this Leon...
I can't.
...into this Leon.
The government dropping bombs on weddings. Who's the bad guy here?
In other words, I really think they should continue the series. I think that this could be really good. It really could expand the Resident Evil universe if they weren't trying to compress it so much. Just let the characters breathe. Let the characters tell their story. Infinite Darkness is still a fun time. This isn't something that is meant to pull in brand new fans. This is something meant to exist just for those of us who are already here. It could have been better, and I wish that it was. I mean, it was mediocre at best, but so is most of the spin-off material. I wish they had just taken time to really expand the world, to really flesh out the story, to give us more. Resident Evil has the potential to be powerful, to comment on the real world, but Capcom always pulls their punches and never quite gets around to really saying anything. If you're a Resi fan, watch it. It's still a fun time. Just don't take it too seriously. Plus, how can you hate classic Leon one-liners? That man is a blessing.
Rest in peace, assholes.
Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more content.